So we're going to do what we always do at the beginning. We're going to have a stretch, have a fidget, get comfortable. You might be ahead of me on that one because obviously I had to dip out and get a glass of water. So let's begin. And I don't know with this whether you'll get really deep into it quite quickly or whether it'll be as we go along, but it's quite a guided meditation, this one, quite a lot of imagery to work through. And like I say, I don't know if you'll go into it deeply at the beginning or whether you'll wait and go deeply into it as you progress through it. But whenever it is you go deeply into this session, I know you can come out with insight and feeling good. So let's begin as we always begin by taking 3 deep breaths together, breathing in. Hold. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And a third wonderful deep breath in. And if you've not done so already, just allowing your eyes to close just gently on that final out breath. And tell yourself, I'm going to relax. I'm going to meditate. Outside noises will not distract me. Everyday thoughts will not disturb me. They just help me go deeper and deeper into this, my meditation. And I wonder if you'll begin to relax immediately, or whether it'll be within a few breaths that you start to notice now that wherever that is for you, that sense of relaxation and comfort beginning. And I don't know if it's in a hand or a foot, in a leg or an arm, or maybe it's in your back or your shoulders, but wherever you start to notice that relaxation now, beginning, allow that feeling to spin within you, to flow within you. And I wonder, would you like to experience and go into meditation quickly, or would you like to experience and go into meditation gently and slowly? Whichever that is for you, and you can experience it either way. You can continue to start to relax, being aware of my voice, the bed or the chair that you're sitting on, the temperature in the room, and that sense of relaxation, of taking time out and just for a while allowing this time just for you. That's right. And just paying attention to the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Like the flowing ebb of the tide, like waves upon the beach. Each one pushing forward and then gently pulling back. And each wave of your breath can gently pull away the stresses and worries of the day, allowing you to relax. And as you're aware of your breathing, and as you relax, and as you listen to my voice, you can continue to just let go, to unwind now. And there's nothing to do, just relax. And it's good to relax. The more you relax, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more you can relax now. I don't want you to try to relax any quicker than you need to let go of this moment. And I wonder how much easier it can be to let go of the next moment. just focusing on the rise and fall of your breath. Each breath carrying you deeper. And I'm going to count down from 10 to 0. 10 is where you are now. I want you to imagine each countdown is a step leading to a doorway which you will arrive at 0. And that doorway leads to a magical place, a mystical place. You can let go, refresh, relax, heal, feel good. That's 10. Just letting go, unwinding, relaxing. 9, drifting down through time and space. 8, easing yourself with every breath that you take and every word that I speak, just allowing you to go deeper now. To 7, letting go. Every muscle just softening, relaxing. 6 to 5, and 5's that midway point, that point of balance, of rest and of comfort. And I want you to become aware of that place within you that feels most comfortable, most at rest. And allow that feeling to spin within you, to flow within you. From 5 to 4, easing yourself down even more, effortless, with every breath, with every moment, with every word. Just relax. From 4 to 3, stepping down those steps, that doorway, just there now, not far. And I don't know whether you'll really relax in the next few steps or wait until you stand before that door, before you can really let go. But whenever it is that you relax deeper into your meditation, I know that you're about to go on a journey from 3 to 2. Letting go from 2 down to 1. Easily, effortlessly letting go. And stepping down off that last step from 1 down to 0. And you find yourself before that door. And as you wait a moment, that door opens slowly to reveal a pathway leading into a landscape of fertile fields and forests. You step forward, walking towards the door, stepping through into the country of your mind. The path leads away and down into a pleasant valley. You meet no one, and there is a feeling of emptiness about the land. Animals and birds are in profusion, but no human beings, or indeed beings of any kind. Nor do you see any houses or farms. And you press on through the little valley and up onto the higher ground. From here, you can see a vast forest ahead, and just seen above the thick green of the trees, the top of a tower. And from its turret flies a pennant bearing the symbol of a tree, the tree of life. You follow the path down the forest and enter its dark green half-light. The path becomes a mere track that winds from side to side, deeper and deeper into the forest. Gradually, your eyes become accustomed to the dim light, and you start to notice the life of the forest around you. Rabbits scuttle across the path. Deer, magnificently antlered, stop to stare at you with a golden gaze before disappearing into the deep reaches of their green realm. Birds sing loudly from every tree, and the mosses and flowers carpet the whole floor of the forest with colour and scent. As you continue along the path, you start to catch, to hear, to notice the first faint notes of music. At first, it almost seems as it's the wind blowing through the branches. But as you walk on, it gets louder and more insistent, calling you further into the heart of this magical place. As you start to realize that you're following eagerly now that music, almost running as the liquid harp notes beckon you onwards. Then they stop. You move forward into an open space. Before you is a ruined castle. I wonder how that castle looks to you. Steps leading to its massive rusting gate are all broken and misaligned. The gatehouse looms darkly against what little can be seen of the sky overhead, and the whole place smells of a silence long observed. Between the bars of the gate, you can see beyond into a courtyard with grass and weeds growing in between the ancient flagstones. Then further on, the dark outline of the castle itself. Great oaken door shut tight. In your heart, you know this place holds some adventure for you, and that here you will find the source of the music you heard in the forest. With a fast beating heart, you climb the broken steps and push open the rusty gate. The scream of its mouldering hinges in the heavy silence makes you jump a little. But you go on into the courtyard. Looking about, you see the massive walls towering above you with the small window slits, offering only minimal light to the interior. But above and beyond, you can just see glimpses of turrets and small towers, balconies and larger windows that must surely give onto bigger rooms. You walk across the courtyard and try the door to the great hall. It seems locked and there's no key. Not that you can find, but above the door in an ancient script, you can read the words, knock and enter. Set in to the middle of the door is a dirt-encrusted door knocker, shaped like a woman's head. You lift it and knock 3 times. The mouth of the knocker moves, and slowly it knocks 3 times. And even slowlier, as if it had forgotten how to speak, the mouth says, Who knocks at the door of the castle of images? In your surprise, you remain silent, so the knocker repeats the question somewhat testily. Then, recovering, give your name to the door. And notice how the door swings open, allowing you to enter the great hall. In the middle of the floor is a huge fire pit, the iron roasting pit spit still in a place. Around the walls are wooden tables and benches on both sides, and at the far end of the hall, raised on a dais, another table with a richly decorated cloth, now tattered and covered in dust and cobwebs. Behind the table stand 3 high-backed chairs, beautifully carved. Around the walls hang tapestries and banners, and here and there great war shields with crossed spears behind them. On the walls around the hall are iron torches, sconced, and at one side a staircase leads up to a gallery with one door in the center. And you realize that you can see other doors leading from the hall, one on the right and one on the left, and one small one half hidden by a curtain directly behind the center chair on the dais. You walk around the hall and begin to look more closely at the tapestries and carvings. There are 4 main hangings that depict the 4 seasons of the earth. Each one shows ordinary people working at their tasks of sowing, ploughing, reaping, and threshing. Around the edges are shown the symbols of the 4 elements and the 4 winds of heaven. Carvings on the chairs and the stairway are of fruit and wheat sheaves, animals and flowers. The hanging behind the chairs shows a young girl working through a forest with an armful of flowers in her arms, and in her hair, and clustered about her feet are the wild creatures of the forest. Her smile is warm and sweet, and woven into the edge of the hanging is her name, Carla, the bride. You pause for a moment to reflect on all these things and to realize that you stand in the hall of Malkuth, the place of the Earth Mother, with all around you the symbols of her fertility. Yet it is cold and uninviting, damp and drear. You go out into the courtyard and look for the woodpile, finding it in a corner. With some effort, you carry enough into the hall to fill the pit, then holding your hand over the logs and reaching down into your inner core of body heat, you contact the Ashim, the souls of fire. Burn. And the wood leaps into life, throwing warm shadows onto the walls and ceilings. You go to the sconces and give the same command. Burn. And the long dead torches flame into life. The spit begins to turn above the fire, and now it holds a side of beef slowly roasting over the logs. Voices of long forgotten revelers sound within the hall, and soon it rings to the noise of happy people, feasting and enjoying the benefits the earth has provided. The hall of Malkuth has come alive once more. You take a torch from the wall and open the small door behind the dais. It opens onto a narrow passage, lit only by the daylight coming from a slit window. and leading to another door with big iron hinges. You open it and step inside, leading down into the darkness beyond. Holding the torch high, you climb down. And at the bottom, you stumble over something. Looking down, you see a skull lying among a heap of bones. For a minute, you stand there contemplating the pitiful remains and thinking that this is what all men must come to in the end. You bless them and pass on. The path slopes downwards and becomes a winding passage with a rough, uneven floor. You pass doors heavily barred from behind, from which come strange and unusual noises. Each door is sealed with a symbol. Some you know, others are new to you. But you are aware that you must not open these doors until you have more knowledge of yourself and your abilities. Now the passage starts to go uphill again, and the way is easier. Ahead, there is a door that must lead back into the castle, but before that, there is another door, like the others, barred and sealed with a small grill set into it, and written below it is your name. You're about to open it and look when a rough voice behind you whispers, "Do not open the door." You look back and see an armored figure behind you. It kneels before you, explaining that it was once the knight whose bones you blessed and gave rest to. For this, he has taken shape one last time to warn you. That door holds back all that is degenerate in your own self. Do not seek to open that which you cannot withstand, or, like Pandora, you will let loose your lower nature. Take heed and pass on. The night disappears and you pass on to open the door leading back into the castle. You enter a small room, circular with windows all around. Like the hall below, its walls are covered with hangings, but these show the star patterns of the night sky. In one window bay stands an old-fashioned telescope, and above you the ceiling has a glass dome. In the very center of the room stands a stone font, filled with water. Around the edge is written, "Only the wise man or the fool can safely look into these waters, the waters of the moon." For a while you stand and think about which of these categories is yours. And then you remember. You realize that the hermit and the fool are of equal importance and represent every human being that searches for truth. You step forward and look into the dark water. What is that you see? What is there that is only for you to know? As you are ready, you go through the door opposite, the one through which you entered, and find yourself standing on the gallery above the great hall. To one side, a small passage leads away from the little hall of the moon, and further along joins a larger passage lined with banners, shields, carving and tapestries that glow with all the colors of the rainbow. Along this corridor, you hear once more the silver sound of the harp. It seems to be coming from the big double doors ahead of you. The doors are carved with many ancient symbols, and the handles are formed like circlets of roses. Take hold of them and push them open. You come into a hall much larger than the one downstairs, far more beautiful. It has 3 windows that facing you have been cut from crystal and has many facets with color the light entering. The other windows have pictures inset into them. On your left is that of a bull, on your right a lion. Behind you a carved eagle sits over the lintel of the great doors. But the most breathtaking sight of all is a huge round table that takes up most of the hall. Seated around it are many figures, but they're not easy to see, for they seem to be made of pure light. Dimly, you perceive knights and ladies, but also others of many kinds and forms, not all of them human. In the center of the table lies a sword. It is plain and simple, with just a single ruby set in the hilt. The figure directly opposite you stands and takes the sword in his hand. It speaks. You who have penetrated to the hall of Excalibur know this, that all who come here must prove their worth in the outer world. When you return, you will start upon the search for that which men call the Grail, but which in reality is your own heart's self. When you've proved yourself to those who sit here, then will you be recalled to take your place amongst us. Now go on and behold the veiled image of that which you must seek. You bow and walk towards the door behind Arthur's seat. As you open it, you hear again the sound of the harp drawing you onwards. You see before you a winding stair, its treads made of mother of pearl. As you climb up, you can see through the tiny windows that you are very high up. You see the forest and the enclosed gardens of the castle below you. You hope that one day you can explore the castle further and search out its secrets. Before you, the music grows louder until you come before an arch filled with light. It seems to you that you can see the ground below you, that this opening is a deception leading you to destruction, yet the music urges you on, and placing your trust in the unknown, you step forward into a small chapel. There's only one thing in it, an ancient wooden box fitted with carrying poles at each corner, of which a carved seraphim kneels with hands and face uplifted. Symbols are carved around the four sides of the box, and it is closed with a lock of pure gold. As you stand before this wonderful, wondrous box, it begins to open. You cover your eyes against the light that it contains. The harp music quivers to a halt and all is silent. Through your protecting fingers, you feel the light dim enough for you to see, and there, standing within the ancient casket, is a veiled chalice. The music begins again, and now you know it comes from the Grail itself. The music pours out, enfolding you and healing you, filling you with strength and love and peace. But it also brings self-knowledge, and you weep. For you know how far you stand from what was ordained for you. The chalice sings of hope and light and the promise of support. Now it sings of sleep and dreams, and you curl up before the ark and sleep, protected by these two eternal symbols. In your dreams, you see the castle from above, and now you can see that it has the outline of the tree of life. Its topmost turret lies within the reach of clouds, as illuminated with the sun. You know that you may return to this place whenever you wish to explore and search out all its secrets. You know also that what you find may not always be pleasant, for this is the castle of your inner self, and you must be prepared to face all the facets of your personality. You wake slowly to find yourself in an empty room with no sign of its former glory. You descend the stairs and retrace your steps back to the hall of Excalibur. This too is empty. Only the great table remains. You return the way you came, finally coming back to the hall of Malkuth, where there is still a lingering warmth. You promise yourself that you will return soon. The door shuts firmly behind you and you cross the courtyard, pausing to look at the weeds. Maybe you could start tidying it up. With plans already to begin to form in your head, you find yourself back in the forest, with the sounds of birdsong and the wind all around you. You turn for a last look at the castle, then you make your way back through the forest, singing as you go, with an unseen harp accompanying you. At the entrance to your own world, you stop and think about what you have seen and heard and learned. This place is yours now. You can bring the castle, your inner self, back to its former glory and make it beautiful again. It will not happen in 1 or 2 visits, but then you have all the time you need. As you step through into your own world, back through the door, back to the base of those 10 steps. And as I count up those 10 steps for you, each step will bring you back to normal everyday awareness, back in that room. That's 1, gently returning 2, back here 3, to begin that search, that mission, that crusade, to be the very best you can be. 4 to 5, take a deep breath in, allowing that oxygen to revitalize your mind and your body. 6 to 7, just ready to come back out, relaxed, refreshed with all the insights you've gained. 8, 9, coming back, and 10, when you're ready in your own time, stretch, have a fidget, and then rejoin us back here, back now.